We are more and more being separated from the gloom of sin and brought into the dazzling beauty of the light of the risen one. Brothers and sisters, may the Lord give you his peace. Father Malachy here with you. And it all began, right, for us as a church on that Easter vigil. And I was reflecting on that, just kind of wanting to soak in all of the grace that's flowing out of this mystery of Jesus' resurrection in these 50 days. And as I was reflecting back, remembering that night when I was blessed to be able to sing the Exalted, proclaiming the truth that Jesus has risen, and there's this line in there that's repeated again and again and again, which is, this is the night. This is the night of which it said, the night has become dazzling as the day. This is the night when the chains of sin are broken. And there's a beautiful line that says, this is the night which sets Christians apart from the gloom of sin. And it just hit me like that line, set apart from the gloom of sin. And what struck me is like at first glance, the reality is that sin doesn't look very gloomy at all. In fact, it looks very attractive. Remembering in my own life, I didn't start reaching out to sort of like drink and do drugs and to kind of get caught up in just this world that's offering you pleasure for no reason. Like it feels good. There's something about that at first glance, it's like, no, this is good. I'm free. I can do whatever I want. A question just rose up in my heart. Like if you want to do sort of like a truth test on something to find out what it really is, what does it look like when it's unfiltered? What does it look like when the masks are off? You know, it's one thing to see somebody out walking about and they're all done up and they're, you know, sort of like best look and showered, etc. And it's like, whoa, this is an attractive person. But it's another thing to see that person in the morning when they're waking up sort of quote unquote, you know, at their worst. What does it look like when you take the mask off of sin? And conversely, what does it look like when you take the mask off of holiness? When you remove the filter, right? You remove the filter from sort of this like free life that the world would offer us, that Satan would offer us. Do whatever you want, do whatever feels good, make whatever choice you think is good for you. And there's no boundaries, there's no direction. It's just this beautiful open blank canvas, right? And if it feels good, then it should definitely be good. And choosing to live this way, meaning like kind of choosing to do whatever you want, regardless of what anyone thinks, regardless of what God thinks, that this is going to give birth to the freedom, the happiness, the fullness of life that you're made for. And we just see the tragic consequence that that's not actually what happens. It makes us slaves in so many ways. And it's interesting. So it's like, take this, like, you know, taking a mask off of sin. And what does it look like? It's ugly. It appears beautiful on the surface. It appears attractive. But when you remove the mask, the superficial dimensions of that, it's ugly underneath. And it mars our hearts. It destroys our humanity. It separates us from the one who made us for himself. And on the other side, it's interesting because when you take the mask off of holiness, when you sort of strip away like the fanfare or the kind of like the pious external beauties that could even be associated with religion, with faith, with God, when you see sort of like the rawness of it and its originalness with no filter, it's absolutely beautiful. You know, I can remember walking into a cloister with these cloistered nuns, Carmelites, and looking through this grill that they live behind, you know, in this cloister. And this is where they're going to live and die, giving themselves to the Lord in prayer, interceding for the church and the world. And there's no makeup there. There's no getting themselves all dressed up. There's only this interior beauty that just radiates through their faces. Whatever way they may have tried to present themselves to the world before, at this point, there's no filter. It's who they are. And you see what you see, you get what you get. And what you get is this beauty and radiance that doesn't seem to have an explanation in words. And we see this as well. Like you think about Mother Theresa, right? Like from a physical, like she's not going to be on, you know, like the front cover of Vanity Fair, but she was an absolutely stunningly beautiful woman and beautiful human being. See, when you take the mask off of this holiness, right? When you take away everything that might be filtering it, what you find at the heart is beauty. Because holiness is sharing in the life of God, who is the beautiful one. And sin is separation from God, which is ugliness, like this separateness from beauty, from the source and origin in which we are all made in the image and likeness of. And whenever we move away from that, right, we're moving away from this image and likeness that we're made in, and God is calling us back. And Easter is this beautiful time in which Jesus is inviting all of us to come and to stand in the light of the resurrection, to come and stand in the light and the beauty of this night. This is a night that separates Christians from the gloom of sin, that we no longer have to go and settle for something less than the fullness of life, because we are finding in Jesus exactly what our hearts are longing and aching and made for. This resurrected life where I can be free from these impulses, where the experience of the pleasure in things is not something that enslaves me, but it leads me to gratitude, to praise, to raising my heart in thanksgiving. You know, that's what the word Eucharist means, thanksgiving. And every time we come to the altar, especially here in this Easter season, we should be coming with thanksgiving for what? For the gift and the grace of our redemption, and for the gift and the grace of being called to participate in this life with Jesus. You know, through our baptism, we've been reborn with Christ. And every time we come to the altar, we receive the resurrected flesh, the body and blood of Jesus in the Eucharist. And in this way, we are more and more being separated from the gloom of sin and brought into the dazzling beauty of the light of the risen one. And he's the one that we're following. This is the road that we're on. And so I'm just so grateful to continue to be on that road with you as we follow his footsteps. This is the night. This is the night that is dazzling bright as day. God bless.